Welcome to the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel. I'm your host, ArmaniTalks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills for you to level up your way with words, become much more articulate. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about how to judge less. Notice something. I didn't say how to never judge again. I said how to judge less. Because judging is something that human beings just naturally do. We do it because we have a limitation in knowledge and experiences. A lot of the times when we're judging, we have no clue that we're judging. We think that this is the only way to live because these are the only experiences that we have accumulated. And I'll give you an example. For a long time, I used to judge people who wore bow ties. I thought if you wore a bow tie, without a doubt, you were a dork. Winners wore ties, not a bow tie. Because whenever I thought of bow tie, I thought of Carlton from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And Carlton was the symbol of what it was like to be a dork. I don't want to be a Carlton. I want to be a Will Smith. Not now, of course, but back in the days. That's when he was the man. And he would wear ties. I am going to wear ties. And that's what I did. For the next couple of years, anytime that I wore a suit, I wore a tie. And I just kept doing this for a multitude of events. Then one day something happened. I recall that I didn't have a tie, and my roommate at the time did not have a tie either. Instead, he had a bow tie. He's like, "Look, Armani, beggars can't be choosers. How about you just wear this bow tie?" So I wore it. And in the beginning stages, I felt as though Carlton's personality was just seeping into me. I felt smaller. I felt like a straight up dork. And I thought, man, I can't do this. But we had to wear a tie for this particular event. I eventually get to the event. And the second that I'm walking in, I get two looks from different individuals who are like, "Hey, I like your bow tie." And what I noticed was most of these other people in this event, they were not wearing bow ties. They were wearing ties. So me wearing something different automatically made me stick out. And throughout this event, I came to notice that whenever you stick out in terms of a fashion sense, a lot of people will just approach you and they'll just be like, "Hey, what made you wear that bow tie? Where did you get that bow tie? How did you tie that bow tie?" They're breaking the ice with you first. And I thought, wow, I was judging this bow tie very soon. I'm going to start incorporating the bow tie into my style. And as more years went on by, I became quite the connoisseur of bow ties. You got to see my collection. Heck, did you know that you could get a regular tie and you could tie it into a bow tie? If you don't believe me, check out some YouTube videos that breaks that down. What I learned was I was judging way too soon. The reason that I was judging too soon was not born from any logical reason. Instead, I saw something on a TV show, and since I never experienced this firsthand, I thought this was a form of reality. But later on, when I experienced the bow tie, I realized reality for what it was. There was this famous saying that said, perspective is worth 80 IQ points. And I believe that's what melting away the judgmental tendencies really come down to. It comes down to changing perspectives. And a lot of times, changing the perspectives is difficult because we're only operating with limited experiences, right? And this is when we have to actually ask ourselves, how important is it? Well, spotting the judgment in the first place is a feat in itself. A lot of people are judging, but they have no clue. So if you're thinking about, how do I have a clue that I'm judging something? Follow the anger and follow the disgust. It's a compass. It's like I had this disgust towards bow ties. If someone even mentioned me wearing a bow tie, I just felt, ugh. And once you notice that, bring it to the forefront of your mind. That's step number one, just to spot the judgment. And step number two is to simply ask the question, is there another viewpoint? And just by asking that question, is there another viewpoint? Now we are not placing so much importance on our firsthand experiences. We're now going beyond our experiences just a tad bit. And we're thinking, is there another viewpoint? Are there any other folks that like to wear bow ties? Is this cool in certain groups? And simply by asking these series of questions, our thinking processes become different. Instead of judging right now and closing ourselves off, we are opening ourselves up. Now, let's say you ask the question, is there another viewpoint? And then you answer, yeah, there is another viewpoint, but I don't give a damn. Then what? See, this is where there's a shocking twist to this video. I am not one of those guys that thinks you should never judge again. I know there are certain philosophies that preach that, but I do think judging has a practical value in society. There are certain things that I still judge on to this day. I mean, there are people that will break other people's property, loot, and they call that a form of protesting. I judge that. There are folks that encourage normalizing pedophilia. I judge that. There are individuals who pretend to be journalists pursuing truth while they're really just going for clicks and propaganda. I judge that. So I don't think judging is a bad thing, but I think we have to be realistic. And to be realistic, we really need to just follow this two-step formula when we are judging, and we want to just be like, look, I'm trying to just melt away the judging a little bit. What are these two steps, Armani? Give me a quick little recap. First is to spot the judgment, and we spot the judgment from ugh. Once we spot an ugh moment, let's say our personal bow tie moment, we ask the question, is there another viewpoint? We sit on this question. Thinking processes get activated in a way where we're not just looking through our own experiences, we're willing to look through the experiences of others. Once we look through the experiences of others, in many situations, the judgment will melt away. And in a couple of situations, the judgment will remain intact because you believe that this judgment is a great judgment that will preserve society the best in the long run. So if you enjoyed this talk and you want to learn more about social skills, emotional intelligence, and how to use introspection towards your advantage, be sure to check out the ArmaniTalks free daily newsletter. In this newsletter, I break down more topics on how to introspect properly, how to judge less, how to empathize faster, plus plenty of other topics that you've been curious about, but you never knew that you were that curious about it. So check out the ArmaniTalks newsletter in the link in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on ArmaniTalks.com/newsletter. Sign up today. Thank you very much for joining the ArmaniTalks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you next time.